Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope all of you Outlaw fans have settled in nicely and recovered after a massive week of truck and tractor pulling. Boy, oh boy, what a week that was. Just to hit it on the nose quickly, we started Wednesday in Britt, Iowa, and then we had 8 shows scheduled for 5 days. Ended up getting, we'll call it 6.5 of those in. We had a complete rain out in Scribner, Nebraska on Thursday, and then we got about 2/3 of the show done, 3/4 of the show done there in Mercer, Missouri on Friday night. But it was all up and down the highway, all across Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, 4 states, 5 days, 8 pulls. What a run it was. We knew it was going to be awesome going into it. We knew that there were going to be some narratives, some stories, some carnage, some breakage, some points change-ups. And there was definitely that out there. We've got some new stories brewing. And then we've got some new polls to look forward to this week again as well. So this week we have, it's going to be 5 sessions in 3 days, 4 different locations. We're going to be in Weeping Water, Nebraska on Thursday. Actually, we'll have 7 sessions of pulling in even more locations. So let's try that again. Weeping Water on Thursday night. That's in Nebraska. Friday night, we're going to have 3 shows going on at one time. West Point, Nebraska, Washington, Missouri, and De Leon, Texas. And then Saturday night, it's going to be the Woodbury County Fair in Mobile, Iowa, plus session 2 of Washington, Missouri, and session 2 of De Leon, Texas. So can't forget about Texas. It's another huge week of pulling. Let's do a quick recap of what went down this week. Give our winners a shout out, do a quick hit on points, and then we're going to go over really what I think is one of the coolest stories that I saw this weekend. We saw back-to-back wins with a motor swap in the middle. I'm going to wait and kind of keep that for just a moment. I'm going to let that team tell you all about it. So the week started off in Wednesday. Feels like it was a month ago. I mean, it's so much has happened since then. So I went up there on Wednesday, did the show in Britt, where we had light super stock ags, 3.0 diesel trucks, diesel super farms, 4-wheel drives, and light limited pro stocks. Big shout out to Jeremy Paulson grabbing the win, light super stock ag that night. He's been borderline unbeatable here lately. Evan Breheim picked up his 3rd win of the season. Congratulations to him in the No Limits Limited Pro Stock Diesel truck. Matt Goodwin been going back and forth with Tyler Buckman all year. Matt Goodman was your round 1 winner on Wednesday. Buckman got the better of him on Tuesday. I find that to be an intriguing story because if Goodwin grabs a points championship this year, it'll be his 11th points championship ever, which is just incredible. Your Super Farm winner that night was Brett Roberts and Spanky's Toy getting a get-right pass in there. Mod 4-wheelers was Thumper. They swept the weekend. And your light limited pro stock winner, Kenny Beeson, with a walk-off win to close out the show. Great pass by the boy from Bedford. After that, we went to Scribner and Sac City. Scribner, unfortunately, over there in Nebraska, was a rain out. Sac City, great show. They honored Kevin Bauer to start off the show. Probably the last time Kevin operates a sled in Sac City. So they wanted to, honor him. They gave him a great award, and then we had a great pull. We'll check in on the comments, and I'll get you some more winners from over there. Chris Pierce says, good evening from Elk Point, South Dakota. Thank you for watching. Terry Mammon checking in from Correctionville, Iowa. Terry Mammon was incredibly hospitable this weekend. I had a day off on Friday. Was going to go spin it up at his shop. But as the story unfolds, you'll see that I wasn't able to make that happen. Ben Beller checking in from Kansas. Did you go to McLouth? Did you go to Mound City? If so, let me know what you thought of it. Ken Summers says, howdy, boys. Hope everything's going good with the new 5.0 Pro stock. We're going to be in Buckner before you know it, Ken. So I went to Sac City. Your winners on Thursday night. Jeremy Paulson picks up another win right there. He would have been a cool one to have on the show. We're going to have to get him on the show as he continues to be pretty much unbeatable. Here's the big story in my mind. Sweet Paying Ty Omer walks away with the win on Thursday night. We're going to have him on the show. He's going to tell us all about it. They hurt the tractor pretty significantly to the point that I thought we're not going to see them for a week. We might not see them the rest of the season. I checked my app on Saturday night, and they won on Saturday night. So he's got the story for you. So congratulations to Ty Ulmer. Tyler Buckman, like I said, was your diesel super winner. Your light limit pro stocks, Mike Masonbrink getting the job done. And your super modified two-wheel drives on a track that had little to give. She had imparted all of her secrets by the end of the night. John Hunt out of Texas wins by about 8 feet. So congratulations to John. John. Yeah, John was your winner out there. A lot of viewers tonight, a lot of comments. We love it. Bentley saying, hey, Bentley from Neely, Nebraska. We had an awesome show Sunday night in Neely. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ben Beller says he was at Mound City. It's a great show. It always was. I was up in Neely, Nebraska. We started at 5. Our show got done at like 6:58. So some of you got to do a double dip on the live stream. We were done in Neely before Mound City, even through the first screen. Tom is watching from Richland, Missouri. Good question right here. Viewer from YouTube wants to know if we're based in the Midwest. Yes, absolutely. Professional Tractor Pulling Association, where we have events in the states of Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. Tina and Eric Berger are checking in from Wilbur, Nebraska. Trooper Mikey, what's up? No mustache tonight, Mr. Lumberg, but thank you for tuning in. Says it's first time here for him. Okay, so we appreciate you watching. Hopefully you can learn a little bit about truck and tractor pulling. Chris Kilberger watching from Ohio. Man, love the fan engagement tonight, guys. Wisconsin being represented. Love that as well. Mark J. Ham from from South Dakota. And we've got Gerald coming in from Washington, Missouri. We're going to be in Washington in just a couple of days. Cole Lundahl always has a good hot take, says Sweet Pain and the Ulmer Mafia had one heck of a weekend. That team is dedicated. Yeah, truly a never say die attitude. We're going to hear all about it in just a moment. They don't let anything get in their way, never to be discouraged. My partner in crime, my announcer, the voice of the Outlaws, giving me a hard time. Ron Stone taking a much-needed night off, going to go interact with some family after doing a lot of outlaw business, saying hot dog. It's my new unofficial nickname. I can own it. They had good hot dogs in Britt, Iowa. It was wonderful. So thank you, Ron, for all that you do. Hopefully you've got some safe travels out there and enjoy some time with the family. Ralph Miller says, Outlaw pulls are so awesome. We went to McLeod, Kansas. Wonderful show. Best crowd ever in history, but not many tractors at all for some reason. I'll go ahead and talk about that. Yeah, so let's go to Saturday night, and I might have to come back to these winners later on. You fans are being ultra engaged, which is exactly what we want after a huge show. So record attendance in McLeod, Kansas on Saturday night. That is amazing. That is awesome. We also had a record attendance in Le Mars, Iowa on this same night. Ron Stone just commented he was doing the show down in McLeod. I was doing the show up in Le Mars. Our combined attendance from the two shows was more people than paid to attend the Oakland A's and Detroit Tigers baseball game. So Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling on Saturday night outdrew Major League Baseball. I just want you guys to think about that. Both McLeod, Kansas and Le Mars, Iowa set a record for attendance at both of their venues. Absolutely awesome. Fans, thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting us. Vehicles. Are the numbers where they want to be? Are the numbers where they can be? No, they're not. Okay. Reason for that, I think fuel prices have a lot to do with that. I think the age of our pullers has a lot to do with that. We have a lot of pullers that are in their mid-40s, right about the time when kids are getting involved in cattle shows, travel baseball, travel softball. Kids are, a priority. I think we have a lot of family-oriented pullers. I think diesel prices are hurting us a little bit. But my rebuttal will also kind of be this. Now, don't get me wrong, we want 15, 20 drivers per class. We put on a 2-hour, 45-minute show in Le Mars. I think you guys were 3.5 hours in Kansas. I would almost argue, I as a fan would rather watch a 3-hour show and say, that's what I want, I'm coming back to that next year, than watch a 6-hour show. So Yeah, we're going to recruit them. They're going to be there. I think there's a lot of circumstances. Pullers are down in numbers, but interestingly enough, it's making for some really efficient, really entertaining shows out there, and the crowds reflect that. So thank you for supporting Outlaw Pulling. Brittany checking in from Texas. Hey, we'll be pulling in Texas this week. Mark Willis watching from Carrollton, Missouri. Voice the Outlaws, Ron Stone. Show me Chevy with a sweep over the weekend, back-to-back weekends, where the Pro Stock four-wheel drive truck class has seen one single driver sweep all three pulls on the weekend. Phil Chrysler, tough to beat right now. And if anybody's really paying attention, his rims are a different color almost every time we see him. Is Phil actually running two different sets of tires depending on which setup he wants to use? I think he is. Chris Kilbarger giving me a hard time. Wow, a ton of you guys tonight. I love it. Chad said, sorry to see the bad luck with colorblind. Hope it's not as bad as it looks. Sounds to me like I need to go back to Full Pull Live and watch McLouth and Mountain City. So Ken, give me a little more information on that. Britt, 5.25 hours away. Go and check it out sometime. Yeah, Ralph Miller, no problem for that explanation right there. Chris Kilbarger said, that's amazing. Pulling is where the cool kids are at. Yeah, it was awesome. Two huge crowds this weekend. After taking photos for 10 years, Mark Jaham, I will boldly say McLouth Hook goes in my book as top 3 single track event I've ever been to. Said what he said. Mark has been to all of the big pulls. McLouth, Kansas, awesome job out there. Well done. Ralph said drove to Marysville, Kansas, from Marysville, Kansas to McLouth just to see this showdown and loved it. It is quickly turning into one of the new premier destination pulls on the planet. No doubt about it. Kansas Summer Nationals, they are setting the bar high. Zook Fukerberg says inflation is killing my business, so it's harder to get away and go pulling. That's another great point. A lot of our pullers, they're in the trucking business. They're entrepreneurs. They're self-made men, self-made ladies out there. Yeah, so the economy, is tough. Cody Yark with 2 wins as well. Absolutely. Terry Mammon, do you know how many people in Lamar's? 6,500 was the reported attendance. We had 6,500 people in Lamar's was the reported attendance. 6,000 was the reported attendance in McLouth. But I promise you it was more than that. I 100% do. At was just here's what we know sat in the physical bleachers. So we had a combined reported attendance, just physical in the bleachers stand, at 12,500. Whereas the Oakland A's and Detroit Tigers had a reported attendance of 10,133. So we outdrew Major League Baseball that night. So awesome stuff. Still tons of comments. I promise I'll try to get through these, and then we will get Ty Omer up here on stage. When's the Diagonal Iowa pull? Great question. I think that's September 9th, but let me pull that up on my Outlaw app. That was one that I was going to announce and decided that was going to be a little bit too close to the due date of my next child. So I should know that one. September 6th. September 6th, we're going pulling in Diagonal. Ben Beller said colorblind, I believe, had a rapid engine disassembly. Or, Ty Ulmer's going to tell us all about that. Ron says 63 hooks in McLouth. Great show, great equipment, great crowd, 3 hours on the nose. Yeah, and we were at 245 in Lamar's. It's what you want, folks. I mean, I will stand by that, Ron, and I talk about it all the time. 63 hooks in 3 hours, 2 tracks. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Great show out there. All right, so we're going to slide around. I'll get back to some of these comments. This is probably the most involved audience I've ever had. Keep them coming, guys. This is great. Speaking of rapid engine disassembly, winning, great weekends, great shows, and rapid engine replacement, a team, I said it when I announced it, they are back. I don't know how else to say it. They are back. They are on a mission and displaying as much emotion as I have seen a team display on Thursday night. Your winners in Sac City on Thursday, your winners on Saturday in McLouth, Kansas. The Ulmer Mafia, Ty Ulmer. Ty, how's everything going up there in Northwest Iowa, bud?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I got off work, and I'm like, pretty sure Outlaw Live is tonight. And I got a message, and I'm like, perfect night to talk about a little bit of
Might be having a little bit of connectivity issues with Ty right here. We'll wait and see if we can get him brought back on. But yeah, as Ty was saying, he said, perfect night to talk about truck and tractor pulling. I was kind of looking for some stories beforehand and got to looking at what they accomplished this weekend. So to get straight to the chase, Ty Omer grabs the win in Sac City, Iowa on Thursday night, but at the cost of a motor. Ty, we were just telling the story.
Well,
you have the win Thursday night,
yep.
but it cost you a little bit. Tell us about the run and then what it cost you at the end of it.
Yeah. So, before we ran, we kind of had this feeling. The team kind of felt this feeling of tractors starting to figure it out, start to understand it a little more, and engines are tuned in. We knew what the tires are liking and what they don't like, and so we had a really good feeling going into Sac City, and nothing really to it. Put her in low and went go, and made a really nice pass. At that time, when we ran, flew past the leader flag, 55 foot, I believe. And towards the end of the run, I was looking at the dash a little bit, just because at that point, when you're going that far, sometimes you run out of track. And I haven't had that in a long time, being that far out there. And so I was just cautiously watching everything. And as soon as the RPM is going to spike, I'm going to let out of it. I'm not going to try to burn this thing in and get every inch out of it. And right as I'm kind of tentatively watching everything, a little bit of white smoke started to appear. And by the time it registered in my head that I should probably let out of it, there was oil splashing in my face and there were parts shooting out the side of the tractor. And we burnt up a motor. So
now I was looking at here, I've got a picture and I want to show your run. And then there's a cool video on Facebook that's been floating around. We'll take a look at that too. Yep. And there's a person in the comments here that I'm going to have a little fun with when I do this. Hopefully maybe my picture didn't get in here. Shoot. No, here we go. Okay, right here. So you guys posted this. I stole this copyright straight from your Facebook. I didn't figure you'd mind. So this is actually the oil pan, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we shot a rod straight down right through the oil pan. Kind of talk to us about, is this a death sentence on a motor right here? Could you salvage this? What goes through your mind when you go back to the trailer and this is what you see?
Well, so when it went, I was 99% sure that that's what the oil pan looked like. When something like that happens, sometimes, and I'm talking maybe 10% of the time, you can repair that motor and be back the next night. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, it takes something with it, whether that's the crank or the block or cracks the main girdle, or hell, it could break. It could hit the head, and you don't really know it. It may not have hit the block, but it smashed up into the head. So, I hopped off the tractor, made sure I wasn't on fire or had a bad fuel leak or anything. And I'm pretty sure one of the first things I said to Dad was, well, let's load it up and let's go home because we got a spare motor to put in.
So I'm just a little curious. I'm going to go to this comment right here. A fella you probably know pretty well. And he said, you hit the rod delete button. Yeah. You Omers, hey, the rods are supposed to stay inside the motor. You guys are getting really good at creating windows for fans. Now, Alan, here's my little chirp back. Ty was back and running 24 hours later. It's that simple, right? Alan, all you got to do is drop a brand new one in there. So it is drastically different, I imagine, with modified versus, light super stock pulling where you guys can pull these out, put them in. A fan back here, this is going to lead into a perfect segue talking about your motor swap. So we've got some new fans over here. And this fan comes in, he says, are all the engines aluminum these days? And a lot of them are, but our next fan says there's some cast iron blocks. That would be you guys, right? You're still running cast, aren't you?
Yep. A lot of the 6-cylinder stuff you see, single turbo, multi-turbo, super stock stuff. That's all cast iron stuff. And they might be getting into steel or billet steel, and I'm not really familiar with that. But I would say that most of the classes are cast iron. We are probably the only Chevys out there that are still running cast iron blocks. But they're aftermarket and they're high performance, and it's not a truck block, but they're still nice stuff. But yeah, all the Hemis are either billet or cast aluminum.
Yeah.
So
now
definitely a minority.
So you won. Now the emotion that your dad had, because you guys kind of share the driving duties. He comes running behind me. I was announcing trackside, and I heard something yell. It almost scared me. It registered that it was Craig. Fist pumped. I thought he was going to fall over forward. Did Dad even care when you said, "Hey, we got to take it to the trailer"? Did he even care? Was he so fired up that Sweet Pain got it done? That was as excited as I have ever seen your father.
Well, so obviously I didn't hear him, but
yeah,
he was saying that he was yelling, and he's like, I don't even think I could hear myself because obviously the tractor was running, but he said that he was at the highest emotion possible and went to immediately the lowest emotion possible within a couple seconds. So I think that was kind of the same feeling with all of us. I mean, that'd be our second win on the season. Third win on the season.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And at that time, and that's exciting to get a win in a light mod class. Really tough to do. So to see the opening in the oil pan was pretty discouraging.
Let's take a look at the run, because I think it does show how well everything was hooked up, and then you can kind of actually see the parts on the end of it at the end of the run here. So let's take a look at your winning run from Sac City, where we wounded the motor on Thursday night.
The track, looking for a distance of 3:16.3, laid down by Vern Huser. Vern Huser, the number one spot by way of a couple of hurt vehicles in the meantime. Now, these guys have really been trying to find the weight balance on this tractor as of late, and it has been getting dialed in nicely this season. They drove it at the Mack Trailer Nationals in Louisville. They drove it at the Pullers Championship in Nashville, Illinois. Two big all-star pulls representing the Outlaws. Here we go, legendary tractor, Ty Omer on Sweet Pain. Have a night at the pulling track. Mr. Ty Omer goes back to the glory days. Father Craig out there showing all the emotion, saying, Sweet Pain is back, baby.
So if you look right there, you can actually see, announcing it live, you could see the white smoke come up. But if you know where to look, you could see, that rod come out right underneath the tractor. So, I imagine when you're on a pass like that, I mean, do you know that, all right, this is one that we're off for the ages here?
Yeah. Yeah, so it was definitely one of them.
I've got one more screen share right here. So you take the lead, you realize the motor's done. You're thinking, oh man, what's the rest of our season going to look like? We've got to get to McLeod 2 days later. Well, you guys were actually gracious enough to give a shop tour while, doing some major repairs. And we ended up getting this awesome video right here. So we're going to check this out as well. Fans, this kind of shows you exactly what they were able to do in less than 48 hours, and Ty can tell you about it. Take a look at this, folks.
Yeah.
So how big of a job was that? Is this, and I truly don't know, and I ask as someone not understanding your side as well as you do, swapping a motor, is that, hey, take it back up to Iowa, zip, NASCAR pit crew are on the way? Or is there a point where you're going up there thinking, man, our season might be in jeopardy?
So depending on the team, I think you
Sure.
could, make the assumption that maybe some situations are worse than others. We do a lot of pre-planning, a lot of, if this happens, then we have the tools, we have the motor, we have, everything ready to go. And I know we're not polished and we're not perfect, but it made it pretty simple to get it back going.
Sure.
But this motor has not sat in that frame rail for 5-6 years. So
No kid.
I mean, every year we change so many little stuff that, I know it's only 5-6 years ago, but there was just little things that, Dad and I and Grandpa and Trace had to do to, tweak to just get it to just bolt into the tractor. Especially with all the new bell housing stuff and the new flex plates that we had to put on, and just stuff like that. So it made it a lot easier being at the shop in the air conditioning in our own environment. We got home that night at like 12:30, I think, by the time we had the spare motor in the trailer, actually. So we could have done it anywhere technically,
Right.
but we took it out of the trailer, got it in the shop, and then early in the morning we got up and started working on it. But I was talking to Kaya, my wife, about it, and I was shot on Sunday, and honestly, Monday, I wasn't really feeling that good. I was pretty wore out, and we were talking about it, and I'm like, it really wasn't, it was a lot of hours. I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was just a lot of focused work, because when you have a championship that's right at the tip of your fingers. I mean, we are so close. We only have 9 events left, and it's like, we finally feel like we figured it out. We finally made a nice, clean run, and it's like, we don't want to make any more mistakes. If the mistakes are going to happen, they're going to be because of things we can't control. And obviously, we don't think anything we did hurt that motor. Now, when we take it apart, we'll find something more. And I was trying to get it apart before this, just to pull the pan off, just to see what was actually broken there, besides the rod. But it was just a lot of that focused work, making sure the timing is set, making sure there's not stuff stuck in the fuel line from sitting in the trailer. Just, little stuff like that we could drive all the way to McLeod and really make a fool out of ourselves. And obviously we showed up, and man, we had, the thing was like it never blew up. And
who drove? Did you drive again on Saturday night, or did Dad take over?
No, I don't know if you remember, but I wrecked a motor the last time I drove. And so I got.
But you won. So
yeah. Well, I was reminded that every time I break something, it always costs a lot of money, and this is from Dad. And I'm like, wait a second here. Did we not go to Louisville and smash the shit out of the front end and the blower and the wheelie bars? And then the next run proceed to smash the wheels off.
Yeah.
Did anybody remember that part?
Yeah.
But,
Remember all that all-star
stuff was
that you guys were doing?
Insignificant. So, but. And he didn't win. He didn't win either of them.
It's just like being kids again. It's just like when he backs into the trailer or whatever, like when you're loading cattle or something, it's no big deal. But when we do it, then it's all that. But anywho, so you get the motor swapped out. You go all the way back to Larchwood, which thank goodness you guys had a day off in between. How wonderful was that? You get it swapped out. You come back down. Motor hadn't ran in 5 or 6 years. You got to be thinking, I don't know. Goes out and wins again on Saturday. That's got to be the weight off the shoulders. And you pull into a tie with Cameron Neves. And here's where I, as an announcer, am going to put my foot in my mouth, because I've been building up this Cameron Neves versus Donald Nelson, slugfest we were going to see. And we were watching early in the season the Bullbuster and the Cotton Candy and Don't Mess with Texas. And all of a sudden, the Sweet Pain team, as I called it on Thursday, it's back. It is saying, hey, world, we never went anywhere. We are 9-time national points champions, trying to get to that double digit. This is some electric stuff going on right now. This is pretty cool. So what was the vibe with Dad and Grandpa and everyone after winning, after all the hard work on Saturday night?
Well, we had some some wet eyeballs. We were definitely
Yep.
pretty jacked up because
Yeah.
you don't work so hard for so many hours and go out there and make a pass like that without having a little bit of emotion.
Yeah.
And we were pretty excited, and to not hurt the spare motor was a big question mark. I mean, they say when you have aluminum rods that are torqued up, ready to run, they can only be torqued for so long, and
Sure.
sometimes they crack. I don't know, something to do with the type of material and being under a tension. So there was some big questions there on, we could throw a rod on this one just because it's been sitting for so long. Did we
Yeah.
get the engine primed good enough? Did we forget to tighten something? It's kind of that first run of the year type feeling,
Sure.
except you have the weight of a points championship staring you right down the throat.
Yep. Now, things are going great. This is going to be a fun season. It's going to be fun to watch this one shake out. I don't, you guys, you got it figured out. You're on your A game, but I don't see Donald or Cameron saying, well, all right, we'll just, kind of go half throttle the rest of the year. Those guys come loaded for bear every single time. So you're tied right now. You talk about not making mistakes. Do you feel that that's kind of the key to victory? If you guys just continue like a basketball team to just execute your game plan fundamentally, is that the path to staying ahead of some of these other legendary pullers out there? Or is there, is that what it takes? Or is it luck? Or, those guys are good, so, but if you feel confident, ABC, follow the strategy, and you feel like it's there for you, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is not taking unnecessary risks. So
Sure.
If you're up in the air on what gear you want to run, what front end weight you want to run, where you want to put it on the track, it's not making, just off ball decisions.
Sure.
A lot of times it just comes down to who can just make a smooth, clean pass.
Sure.
If that's third place because you didn't risk it and put it on the way right chalk line,
Yeah.
all right, we'll give it to that guy who won. We got 9 events left, and with the spread between first and second, with the 2 extra points you get for winning, someone can pull away from this pretty quickly, or someone could fall behind really quickly. So just not stepping on your own foot, don't take unnecessary risks, and pay attention to the details. And I think that's just part of our normal routine anyway. And so it's really just not getting out of your routine and sticking with what you know.
Yep. And I would agree with that. Based on the operation I see you guys run, you look like precision and fundamentals are, if there's such a thing as fundamentals in tractor pulling, which I'm sure there is, that looks like your all's approach. Rarely do I see you guys doing some crazy cross tracking or going out of bounds or something, you guys, and the weight balance, we talk about it all the time. You've found it. I'm not even going to ask you to divulge any secrets on the internet here, but you have found the balance and it looks great. What an awesome story, picking up the win on Thursday night. What career victory is that for you? How many does Ty Omer have personally?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe 10.
That's a good problem to have. Now, if you can answer that, if you're a puller if you can easily answer that question, it's when you start not knowing how to answer that question that shows that you're having a good career. So well into the double digits in wins, Dad, Grandpa, too many wins to count. You win, you blow it up, you rebuild it, you win again, and you pull into a tie in first place points. Boy, it's going to be an awesome season. Anybody you'd like to thank? I'm sure Richard's Repair, the body shop, hit some of your sponsors, your family. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So I want to tell a quick little story. So
yeah,
Thursday was Sac City. We had Friday off, and then Saturday's McLeod. And so on Friday, our plan was to drive to Rockwell City, which is kind of in that Sac City area. And we're going to pick up a new geo tracker, not new to us.
Yeah.
The same thing, but getting something with 4-wheel drive that actually works and air conditioning that actually works and some of like the perks that we're missing out on our current setup. And we were going to spend Friday, sharpening tires and swapping over the tracker and, piddling around with that little stuff.
Yep.
Obviously, we never did that. But reason why Dad's not on the podcast is he's over in Rockwell City right now picking up that Chevy tracker so we can have it ready for DeLeon this weekend.
So your Friday was supposed to be like my Friday. See, I went out on Thursday and I announced as hard as I've ever announced. Sac City, it's first place ever called to pull. It's a special venue to me. I get a little extra amped up knowing I had Friday off. You were going to be piddling in a tracker. I was going to go find a river and do some fishing. I ended up in Mercer, Missouri, long story short, also due to some outlaw breakage. So, yeah, our Fridays were not the leisurely piddle days that we had envisioned, but that's pulling, man. So, so Dad's picking up the tracker right now. So big thank you to him and thank you to the folks for providing that. Who else would you like to thank as well, Ty?
And, on Friday, the owner, Rich's Repair, Lee, stopped out and pretty much stood there and shook his head and, didn't say it, but man, you guys are crazy. But he's a big supporter of ours. And obviously he's our title sponsor of the tractor. And we're pretty proud to say it's the Rich's Repair Sweet Pain. They're just north of our shop here in Larchwood. And I know when Full Pull or Outlaws came out to do a little tidbit in our shop, they stopped up there too to get a little bit of video.
Good.
That's definitely the future of Sweet Pain. It's us and Richards. And then our support from Channel Seed is a big one too. If you want to be a profitable farmer in Northwest Iowa and you don't plant Channel Seed, you're really missing out. You need to find a good dealer, and a good dealer can put the right seed into your field for whatever your application or whatever your situation looks like. And for us, it's Troy Thiessen in Rock Rapids. So huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to Channel Seed. And then obviously the body shop. There hasn't been very many wrecks, but there was a storm this weekend. And so we're starting to pick up pretty fast, and we've got more people getting hired every month. So we're growing like a weed, and that's just a big thanks to all my great customers. We're starting to grow really fast, and super thankful for that. But those three keeps us going.
I think what you just did there was so professional and so smart. And I think pullers, this is really a direction that I would love to see pulling teams pursue in the next 10 years or so. It's not just Sweet Pain. It's the Richards Repairs Sweet Pain. And we've seen this back when, you had the Optima Batteries Kentucky and a couple of others. Finding some of these things that you believe in, Channel Seed, big thank you to them, that you believe in, that believes in you and gives your team that extra support it needs. Obviously this worked for other associations in NHRA, NASCAR on a team level. The Outlaws have their national sponsors, but individual teams having sponsors. I think that's great. Great plug you just did right there. So we'll give them one more, Richard Repairs as well as Channel Seed. We appreciate you guys, but class act, awesome stuff. Sweet Pain is back, Ty. Good luck the rest of the season, and it's gonna be a fun one to watch this one shake down.
Yes, it is. I'm excited.
Yep. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Ty Omer representing the Omer Mafia on the Sweet Pain pulling team, courtesy of Richards Repair and Channel Seed. I love that they do that. What an awesome weekend for them. Ron Stone with a very important comment right here. The app is open for entries to all events this weekend. We have 5 sessions of pulling, 3 locations, 4 states out of lots of places. Okay, tons of places. Thursday night, Weeping Water, Nebraska. Friday night, DeLeon, Texas. Washington, Missouri. West Point, Nebraska. Saturday night, Mobile, Iowa. DeLeon, Texas, Washington, Missouri. State Fair, Iowa State Fair. Any pullers watching, you do need to be registered for the Iowa State Fair by August 10th. Parking is at a premium. We need to know who else is going to be there. Lots of comments get caught up with, and then Doug Baird from the Woodbury County Fair at Mobile is going to talk to us about one of the best shows I go to every year, which is Mobile, Iowa. Mean Green saying, what event am I going to this weekend? I'm going to be in Weeping Water, West Point, and Mobile. Yep. Envision the Victory. That's right. Going there talking for Ty Ulmer. Chris Kilberger, do they have a setup notebook from past hooks? I know for a fact that they do. And then we got some side conversations, some guys chatting with each other over here, which that's great. Keep that up, guys, over there on YouTube. Robert Miner checking in from Niobrara, Nebraska, saying hello. Yeah, Chris Kilberger, Ulmer Mafia is back. I almost hate saying that because were they ever really gone? Were we ever worried that they were gone? It's just, now we're seeing them sticking it, to the class the way that they always had. Alan says, where am I going to be? Okay, just talked about that. Chris says, see you at the State Fair. I look forward to it. Cole, see you in West Point and Mobile. Perfect. So with all that being said, last week, huge week, but this week is a huge week coming up as well. Let's go ahead and bring our promoter from Mobile. Doug, how are you today?
Good. How's Mike doing?
Doing really well. Ron not able to join us tonight. Ron actually doing some traveling. He had a big meeting with one of our sponsors in Missouri today, and then he was going to go out and spend some time with his family in Ohio. Much deserved, much needed. So we're going to give Ron the night off. So let's talk about what, in my opinion, was one of the single best pulls I went to last year. Did you guys win an award for Pull of the Year at Mobile last year? I kind of almost think you did.
It wasn't last year. I think it was about 2017 that we won that.
Well, I voted for you last year. I'll put it that way then, because the Light Super Stock show that you guys had just really stuck out in my mind. It's a great event. It's a great venue. I'm going to pull up your class order here really quick. So that is going to be on Saturday, August 8th, where you guys are going to be hooking light limited modifieds, light limited pro stocks, light supers, light super stock ag, pro stock four-wheel drives in the North Circuit, and super farms. Really, really good pull. Really great county fair. It was one of the few that I had enough time to go up on the Midway, grab a bite to eat. Really liked what I saw up there. Kind of tell us about pulling in Mobile and just your take on everything.
Well, I'm trying to think. It's been probably close to 60 years or a little better that there's been a pull in Mobile. I asked one guy one time, and he said it was about when the 856 International came out is when they started pulling. So they don't have any records going back when it actually started, but I'm kind of thinking that's about when it was. And the guy that actually that told me this, he's the one that kind of got me involved with the fair and helping with the poll. And of course, the guy that got him started was Freddie Nichols, and I'm sure you've heard that name before.
Yep. So
kind of learned from him over the past 30 some years, learning the track and what goes on there and everything else. And now I got couple other guys that I'm trying to teach this to, I guess. And they're like, well, you're not going to leave us. I'm like, no, but somebody else needs to know this.
Right.
Somebody.
Yep.
But no, we really take a lot of pride in our track. And after the poll, when somebody comes up to you and tells you, that you have a good track, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good.
You could see Alan right here chiming in. And like I said, I remember that light super class last year just being absolutely awesome. He says Mobile's really improved. And he says the track has been awesome the last few years that he's been there. Yeah, I would say this is another one of those where I get to the track at 1 or 2 in the afternoon and you guys are already working on it. I can remember you've got one of the biggest discs that I see that goes right down the middle of it and starts opening that track up. So, the 2 times I've been there, has been a really, really impressive track. I love the venue. It's got kind of you've got there's like a level up above that looks down on the track, like your beer garden or whatever. It's almost like they can look from like an above level right there. All the fans right out there in front of you, they pack the house. Kurt Paulson, who's a local puller right there in the Mobile area, says the pits are redone as well. So tell us about any updates out there that the pullers might want to know out in the pits.
There is always a water drainage ditch going through there.
Mm-hmm.
And this last fall, we got that leveled off. I mentioned to a couple guys, and they said, "Oh, we kind of like that. You know, we put the back of the trailer there, and we didn't have as steep of a ramp." But
Sure.
everybody else is gonna, I think, like that. We'll probably set some flags up this year so they can just nose the trucks up against the evergreens out there, and see how it works this year. If the parking works that way, if not, we'll try something different.
Sure. Yep. And always, to have that approach, that attitude of how can we improve it? How can we make it better, both for fans, for pullers, for sponsors, for everyone? That's always a big and important thing. So this is a pulling rich area. People love truck and tractor pulling in this area. And when I kind of think of the show, like I said, I think of the light supers, the light super ags. You've got several pullers that are from, I would say, kind of up and down that area. It's right on you guys are right on Highway 20, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that too. There's some construction right there at Mobile.
Okay.
And everybody turned on Fair Street. Right now, it would work best if everybody went to the stop sign there at the edge of town. And if they would go right up highway there to the Casey's on the corner and then head back east, then go right up Main Street and right into the pits.
So at the four-way stop, don't turn north right there like we typically do.
Yep.
Okay. Go to the east, go on past it.
Yeah.
And turn up Main Street.
Yep. There'll be a Casey's General Store on the corner.
Okay.
Turn east and go right up Main Street.
Okay. And did you send me, and I'll apologize, I've had a lot of people in communication with me this week, but I am wanting to say that I got some kind of highlighted maps. Did you send me some of these? So we will get those posted. And pullers, if you are listening and watching, and if you're going to Mobile, go ahead and go through the four-way stop right there on Highway 20. We can all picture it. We've all been there before. And then, Terry said turn north on 140. Would that be consistent with what you're saying? So turn north on 140, and that's going to actually take you right into the pits?
That 140 is the highway that runs through town.
Okay.
So you just go up that way. There's a little S curve, and right after the S curve, you'll see the Casey's on the corner, and then just take a right and head up Main Street.
Perfect. So folks, if you are looking for that, we will get those posted. But got some construction, and of course, nobody wants to get stuck in that with all their big rigs and haulers and toters. So pulling area, tons of pullers, whether it be Correctionville or, Lamar's up the road or whatever. There's a bunch of them in there. What are the fans what do you notice brings them out? Do they like the alky burners? Do they like the smoke? Do they like the trucks? Or is it just a little something of everything up there?
I think it's a little something of everything. Of course, right in the area, we have, everybody likes the diesel smoke and
sure.
And of course I did too. Now Kurt's got me into the alcohol. And, of course, Sioux City's so close, and a lot of the people that come out of the city, they like noise. So we got a little bit of everything.
Yep. I always remember the four-wheel drive truck class has been good there in the past. It looks like you've got the pro stock four-wheel drive trucks, which should take your numbers, I would say, from maybe that 6-7 up into the 15-16 range. So fans are going to get to see some extra noise this year as well. I saw Billy Joe Breheim commented earlier, said their first time coming up to Mobile. So we're excited to have those pro stock four-wheelers right there. So I don't know, Kurt Paulson was watching earlier, but you talked about Kurt. So Alan is kind of giving him a hard time here, wanting to know if Crazy Horse is going to be putting the killer tune in it. So there you go, Kurt. The weight balance on Crazy Horse has been perfect lately, but Alan wants to know if you're going to turn the screws up for the hometown pull.
That'll probably be a surprise for everybody.
Yeah, he says you're at liberty to answer. He said, so where are we? Are we setting the killer tune on it, or are we still easing into the new turbo setup?
We haven't really discussed that yet.
Okay.
But it is the hometown show, so.
Knowing how Kurt likes to do things, I wouldn't be surprised to see him turn that into a bit of a rodeo there for one night if he could. So let's talk. We've talked some logistics for pullers, about where they need to enter. let's talk some logistics for fans, be it, longtime fair fans or new people that are coming because they've seen the podcast. Any specifics on where they need to park, where they need to enter? What do they need to pay to get in?
Parking's all the same. And they can come up. There's another street that is called a frontage road. They can come up that, but we're asking all the trucks to go up Main Street. And a lot of the people, there's going to be signs everywhere on how to get there. The town's got some signs. The DOT put up some of those signs that, will scroll across, about heavy traffic and everything else. I don't know what they all say, but, fair this way. And so it's going to be labeled and marked out pretty good.
Good. What's it going to cost an individual to come in and watch all this horsepower?
25 in the pits. And it's 20 in the grandstands, and then of course it's a reduced rate for the younger kids, but I can't remember what that is.
Okay. Yep. So you're looking at $20 as the general fair crowd. 25 is going to let you hang out with the pullers, and then of course kids, be it 16 or 12 or 5 or whatever, are going to have a discount with them.
And the other thing, the pits for $25, and all the pullers. I mean, we enjoy the people coming around and taking a look at the stuff and asking questions,
Yes.
That's part of it. That's an enjoyment that we all have too.
Yeah, that's something I always highly encourage fans. If you are a new pulling fan, or let's say you've been to a couple, I met a new fan last week in Lamar's, and he even said, "Oh, I wish I could have talked to the pullers." That's a great thing about pulling is they are an open pit venue. Sometimes there is a little bit more, so it sounds like here at Mobile, $5 more is going to get you out into the pits. But the pullers welcome that. They will let you come up and look at their vehicles. They will discuss with you what they're doing. So always be sure to get there an hour or two early, fans, not only to, go meet the pullers, but to support the fair as well. Get yourself a hamburger, get yourself a hot dog, something great up on the fair, but go meet these pullers. They'd love to take pictures with you, respectfully let your kids sit in the driver's seat. It's always great to have open pits. Now, your fair, do you guys let fans bring any sort of soft-sided coolers or water bottles or iced tea in, or is that all on the ground?
No, we have beer gardens.
Yeah.
We have one, you're talking about at our patio where you can,
that's
kind of cool, where you can actually watch right where they take off, where the sled sets off and takes off. And then we have a beer garden in the pits too, so, and the bleachers on that side. So, and then there's a couple food trucks in the pit, and, I just seen Alan. He drove my tractor. I remember that.
So Alan's going down memory lane here. Says that he first tractor he ever drove was your tractor. I'll let either one of you tell me, how did that pan out? Was that did he keep all the rods inside where they belonged?
Yeah, he did. We were on vacation somewhere, and it was up at Mark's, and we were trying to figure some things out on it, and Alan drove it that night. So
Doug both coming in and saying $25 is cheap. I agree in today's economy. I took my boys to the park today. Had a day off where I said, we're not going to do pulling. We're going to take the boys to the park. Took them up to Sonic, and the one kid didn't even want a real lunch. He wanted French fries. So we got a burger, a corn dog, and French fries. And I'm serious, it's $26. $26. I know that, and that's nothing against Sonic or the economy or whatever, but $25 to get you to see 75 vehicles, go and meet the pullers in the pits. I completely agree. That's very affordable. So yeah, $25. That's a great price to go meet the pullers out there. Alan says it was Rock Valley 2009. Is that sounding about right to you, Doug?
Probably, yeah.
Sure. That's funny, Alan. I'll say this right now. I would have guessed that you would have been pulling much longer than that, which is not to say anything about your age. I think you're about the same age as I am, but I would have guessed that you'd been on a pulling vehicle since about 1999 or something like that. But no, that's cool. I love hearing the backstories and the connections. So $20 at the gate, $25 into the pits. No outside coolers or drinks. They have vendors and alcohol sales on premise. Parking signs are everywhere. All going to be live streamed on fullpull.live for anybody who cannot be there. The official live streaming of the Outlaws. Do you have any sponsors, a sponsor list that you'd like to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, and I'm probably going to forget some. We got Nutrient Ag. They help us with the track. They bring all the water and the sprayer and everything in. Vetter Equipment, Case IH dealer. Got to get my perk. I work there, so.
Yeah.
But donate equipment to help build the track. United Bank of Iowa. Can't forget Holganics. This is our first year with Holganics. We kind of got into it late, but that is going to make a difference and really help for us. The other thing, like I said, I'm going to forget, but all the people that help us on the board and all the volunteers. I mean, it takes a lot, time of guys hooking and unhooking and running the packers and the scrapers. And it's a lot of work.
It truly is to put on a 3-hour tractor pull. I was just looking down the list of the sheet that kind of reminds promoters of what we need once we arrive. And you hit it spot on right there. You have to have, telehandlers that are going to change weights in the sled, and you have to have track prep crew as well as track building crew. You have to have first responders, safety officials. It is a professional motorsports entity. That's one thing people always need to remember. While this might look like small town truck and tractor pulling, this is professional level stuff, and it takes an absolute massive amount. So these fairs that are, accommodating and able to have us come back year after year, like, Mobile and the Woodbury County Fair, we just say thank you for believing in us and having us back. And we look forward to putting on a great show for your fans. You have a great collection of fans. You guys pack the house every single year. What time is showtime? Are we a 7 or a 6 o'clock start?
7 o'clock. 6:30, we have that antique tractor parade that comes through.
Yep.
So the guys like to, show their tractors off too in front of the fans, and so we'll be starting at about 6:30 and starting the show at 7.
And I love what Alan says right here too, especially if you're from out of the area. And we've got a lot of first-time Outlaw fans watching tonight, and we appreciate all that. If you're thinking about coming up to Mobile, and I highly encourage you to, go ahead and support the fair too. Get there at noon. Come on out, get there at noon, go and walk the midway, check everything out, support the whole fair, and then just stay for the pull. I think that's a great.
I gotta brag about our fair a little bit. Woodbury County, is a decent sized county, but we are the number 2 in the state for the most 4-H and FFA kids involved.
That first of all, congratulations. Second of all, I believe it, because when I come in every single year, the amount of, and I don't know the proper term because I'm a motorsports individual, animal shelters, animal pavilions. Yeah. I mean, it's you drive right past droves of them. I feel like I'm at the state fair every time I go past this. It looks like the Missouri State Fair, Iowa State Fair, way bigger than Missouri State Fair, but it looks like the Missouri State Fair every time I go past there. So number 2 in 4-H and FFA youth involvement. That's something to hang your hat on right there.
And actually, whatever county is around Des Moines there, that's number 1 in the state.
Well, it's got Des Moines. I mean, that's where the state fair is. So of course they're going to be number 1. And then for you guys, which a county of 100,000 people, I'm not sure.
Tell you.
Yeah, not a ton. So that's wonderful. Well, Doug, thank you so much for coming on. Always looking to promote your pull, promoting tractor pulling, promoting the Outlaws, promoting the Woodbury County Fair. That is this Saturday, August the 8th. Is that where we're going to be at? That's August 8th, this Saturday, Mobile, Iowa, 7 o'clock. The tractor parade starts at 6:30. What time do gates open? What time can a person just get into the tractor pull?
Probably 6 o'clock.
Okay. But they can come to the fair at any time throughout the day.
Right.
Sure. So we'll call it gates open at 6, $20 to get you in, $25 to meet the pullers in the pits.
And the other thing is if you buy the tickets when you come into the fair, if you buy your tractor pull ticket there, you don't have to pay to get into the fair. That comes with the ticket.
Yes. Yeah. So you're an inclusive event is how this.
Unless you come in for just the fair and decide you're going to go to the tractor pull, then you got to pay, the $20 at the grandstands. But if you're buying the actual ticket when you come into the fairgrounds, you spend $20 there. You don't have to pay the $6 or whatever it is to get in the fairgrounds. That's included with the tractor pull ticket.
Awesome. Love it. Great way to do it. Thank you for joining us here tonight, fans. Be sure to check that out. Moville, Iowa, this Saturday at 7 o'clock. If you can't be there, fullpull.live has you covered. Doug, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, we'll see you Saturday.
Looking forward to it. All right, so Doug Baird, he's your promoter there in Moville, Iowa, Saturday night show. And again, and I've lost count of this because numbers aren't my thing. So we'll just go through the dates. Thursday night, Weeping Water, Nebraska. That's the only show. Hey, come on out, come watch it. If you can't be there on fullpull.live. Thursday night, Weeping Water, Nebraska. Friday night, 3 shows, 3 states, 3 locations. De Leon, Texas, Washington, Missouri, as well as Weeping Water, Nebraska. Saturday night, Moville, Iowa, Session 2 of Washington, Missouri, Session 2 of De Leon, Texas. All the pulling you could want. Check it out in person or on the live stream. Big congratulations to all of our winners from last week. I didn't get to all of you, and quite frankly, I don't know that I could get to all of you in the next 30 minutes or so. So Phil Chrysler swept the weekend. It looked like comments that a couple others swept the weekend out there. Ulmer Mafia is back, baby. Pulling is awesome. We had one of the biggest fan audiences that we've had in quite some time tonight. So all of you tuning in, thank you so much for watching the podcast, the official podcast of Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling. For those of you who are going to pull at the Iowa State Fair, August 10th is your registration date for that. And the app is open for all registration for pullers this week. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great Tuesday evening. Tune back in next Tuesday night to see how much has shaken off. Mike, on behalf of Ron Stone and the Outlaws, wishing each and every one of you a good night, and pulling is fun, folks.